I'm so pretty. I'm so pretty, right? So I guess I could be pretty because if Ali was pretty and he was the baddest man on the planet, then I could be pretty too. Anyway, well, y'all pretty. All of y'all pretty, and Dr. Lene's pretty. Everybody tell Dr. Lene how pretty she is because we got to tell the black women how awesome they are. Y'all one of a kind, unique, amazing. And anyway, so Dr. Lene is we were talking recently about just some stuff that's been going on in terms of black people in business. And there's a guy by the name of Ryan Coogler who apparently just made a great movie called Sinners. And he's making he's making money moves, right? So it sounds like he made a deal with Warner Brothers that was pretty unique. That did you want to kind of like get us started talking about that?
Yeah. So first of all, if you have not seen Sinners, I'm gonna do shameless plug. It is a good movie. I have to tell you, when I first saw the trailer, I've been waiting for this movie to come out since like February. So I knew I was gonna go see it, and it's just really good. It was a smart move. I don't even know if he knew that this he was gonna do this, but because excuse me, because it is his intellectual property, meaning that the studio didn't get a script and shop it around to directors. He had the script, he shopped the script around. It's his script. So apparently Warner Brothers has been struggling with regards to getting their movies out recently. And so basically they were willing to give him almost anything he asked for. And one of the things that he asked for was to retain ownership of the intellectual property rights to this movie. So after 25 years, the licensing, the ownership, the IP of the movie reverts back to him and his family. So basically, the studio owns it for 25 years. They can do whatever they want to do with it, sell it, get money for it, put it on Netflix, license it on Amazon, and get money for it. But after 25 years, they have to give the movie and the publication and the monies back to him. And it goes to him and his family for the rest of their lives.
Okay, good for him. I approve of this. I think that that's exciting. I think that what's interesting about that is you and I were talking earlier about one of my friends, Daryl Bell, who was on a different world, and Daryl's a great guy. I got to get Daryl in here because Daryl's just a good, really good brother. Very smart, financially oriented, understands black wealth and appreciates it. And one thing that he talked about was the challenge that cast members of a different world have when it comes to getting access to this so-called black show, right? We'll call it a black show, but it's not black owned. I'm using air quotes in an obnoxious way, right? Air quotes, right? And so the truth is that I think that what how much this translates to financially for Ryan and his family, which is going to be beautiful. I think there's also sort of a black wealth translation in the sense that by watching him make this business decision, there are people that are going to learn from that, people that are going to sort of think about doing business in a certain way. He's kind of reset the mold in Hollywood. What are your thoughts on that?
They said that it was a dangerous decision, a dangerous move. They're saying that exactly what you're saying. People may want to come and do this. Now, he is only, I believe, the third person who has done it. Mel Gibson did it with Passion of the Christ, and somebody else did it with another movie. I can't remember what it was. So he's only like the third person to do this. So it's not something that you see often. Again, it's usually something where most of the time a script comes to the Hollywood or the production company will have a script that they've bought and they'll go and find somebody to do the movie, right? In which case, it's not your movie, it's not your script. You don't own the IP. But in this case, he owns the IP. For example, Marvel has the script for Black Panther. He wouldn't go and say, I want to own the Marvel script in 25 years. It's not his. He just came in and directed the movie. But this is his. So I think that that makes sense. Why would I create this intellectual property, come up with the script, shop it to you, and now you own it and get to make money off of it for the rest of your business's life? And we were talking about Bad Boys before we got on. This is a franchise movie, right? So when you have a franchise, that means now here's the thing. I don't know if once Sinners is done, if he does the Sinners 2, how I don't know how that plays out, but we know that movies live a long time. Our children are going back and watching the original Bad Boys, which was like 25, 30 years ago. So we know that movies live for a long time. I go back and watch Five Heartbeats still today. That movie is 30 years old. So owning rights to something for 25 years and or getting them back, there's money there.
Mm. Well, what's interesting is that Um, Despite the fact that he pulled off, a pretty amazing feat with this film, not everybody seemed happy about it. There was this headline that came out with Variety magazine. I thought it was Hollywood Reporter, but it was actually Variety. If somebody's going to be racist, we got to make sure the credit goes where it's due. Um, and basically, there's so Ben Stiller calls us out. I wish I could pull the headline on the screen, but it would be y'all know how I am with technology. But I'm gonna just read it to you. Uh, so here's what the headline said. It says Sinners. This is from Variety. They says Sinners has amassed a $61 million in its global debut. It's a great result for an original R-rated horror film. Yet the Warner Brothers release has a $90 million price tag before global marketing expenses. So profitability remains a ways away. And then so Ben Stiller comes back and Ben Stiller basically says, in what universe does a $60 million opening for an original studio movie warrant this headline? It almost sounds to me, Dr. Javette, like Stiller's alluding to the racism in the headline. What do you think about that?
I mean, he is definitely saying this is what you want to report. Like $60 million is a great opening. I think that they have the fifth largest opening. I forget what I was looking at, but it was like the fifth largest opening. Oh, I don't remember. I don't know. I can't remember if it was for or not either R-rated movies or horror. I can't remember what it was, but it's the fifth, right? And so it's I think it's the first R-rated horror movie to get an A cinema score. Like they're breaking stuff all across the board. And so for Variety to then come back and be like, yeah, but it didn't do this. Yeah, but it's like, really? Like, why? For what? No, they're not lying because I did read where a movie has to do 2.5 times its production budget in order for it to be profitable. Because when you go to the movie theaters, the what you're paying for your ticket, half goes to the theater, half goes to the production company. So when we hear $61 million, the production company only gets 30.5 million of that. So
Hmm.
the movie has to do 2.5 times. So what he's not lying, or Variety's not lying. It's just that it's not appropriate. Like when Titanic does this, or when any Michael Bay movie does this, they don't come back and say, "Oh, but he didn't make this much money." They don't do that. They say, "Oh, great opening weekend. They did 50 million." So there's
Hmm.
definitely an undertone.
Well, I appreciate. Well, here's what I see, right? Whether Variety was intending to make this sound like a sneak diss or not, is a personal decision, right? In fact, give me a yes or no. Yeah, yes if you think that their headline was kind of BS, and no if you think that we're just being overly sensitive. It's totally fine to believe either way. I'd like to get everybody's opinion, um, because it was almost like you did good, but it was good for an R-rated movie, and you really haven't made back your money because there's so much money out there that was spent on this film. So your chances of making a profit aren't that high. It almost sounded like it was sort of like an underhanded insult. But here's where they actually did Ryan Coogler a massive favor. And Ben Stiller added to that. Black people are real sensitive, right? And so whether your intent was racist or not, we know that what we tend to do, because we are emotional people and we are emotional spenders and we're emotional when it comes to racism, is now you're gonna, because of this diss, you're gonna have millions of black people that are gonna be like, oh, now I got to go see the movie. Now I got to go give Warner Brothers my money. I got to go. Right? We'll do it. We're almost like Whitley in A Different World when she wanted to prove to the racist lady that she could afford the jewelry, so she runs to the jewelry store and spends all her money. And on one hand, I get it. Like I plan to see the movie too. The Ben Stiller's comment put the movie on my radar, and then because I like Coogler, I like black ownership, I want to go see the film. But then we got to also understand there's the other side of that where people kind of know, not that Stiller was thinking this at all, but people know like if we just trigger black people a little bit, oh, they gonna come out and they gonna give their money, right? Let me give you an example and tell me, Lene, if you remember this. And I actually got to run to the bathroom, so I'm gonna let you answer while I run to the bathroom. Did anybody remember when Oprah was about to put out a movie? and she told a story about how she went into a store in Sweden or Switzerland or wherever rich people like to hang out.
The
And the
purse.
lady like basically snubbed her nose and pretended like or really acted like she couldn't afford the purse she was looking at. And black people they were living. How dare you say Oprah can't afford the purse? Blah,
Hmm.
blah, blah. And everybody went to see her. She had a movie coming out like right after that. So I believe Oprah timed that. I think Oprah was like, "Ooh, I got to say something that's gonna get people riled up." So they'll all come in and see my. I think it was. I don't know if it was Greenleaf coming out or something. Unfortunately, a lot of Oprah stuff hasn't been that memorable for me. We were talking about Beloved the other day, and anybody remember how that movie was just crazy? But I saw it in the theater with Oprah. That's a side note. But actually, Oprah came into the theater. That was kind of cool, right? But it wasn't. The movie wasn't great. But anyway, my point is to say, do you think what do you think about that? That sometimes like we will run to pour our money into because remember, Coogler owns a piece of the movie, or he's going to own the movie
Oh,
in the year
wait.
2049.
And there's another thing to his deal. So yes, he gets it in 25 years, but the other part of his deal is that he doesn't have to wait until the movie is profitable. He starts making money on day one. That was the other part
Yes.
of the deal.
Yes. So this is a great partnership for Ryan Coogler. And it's great for his family. It's great for all the cast members that are in the film, 100%. Um, but then there's the other side to be acknowledged, and I'm not acknowledging this with any bias. I want people to kind of form their own thoughts on this. But the big kahuna that's going to make the big money is Warner Brothers. Like that's still like 100% abundantly clear for the most part. I mean, Warner Brothers is the big brother standing over the little brother that's basically saying, hey, we're partnering with this black person, so this is just like supporting a black owned business. It becomes what it does is it becomes kind of a dilemma because you with Target, remember when everybody was like, we're going to boycott Target because y'all cut your DEI programs, but then black influencers who had Target deals were like, no, 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 don't boycott Target, y'all. We making money over here, y'all. Well, unfortunately, there are a lot of black folks who are like, you're making money, but that's not always the same as us making money. Now, again, I want you to just share your thoughts on anything that I said. I'm not even mentioning this to sort of get a response from anyone. I want everyone to just sort of see the whole picture. That's my job. I want to paint the picture. I'm not trying to tell you what you should think about the art. So, Lene, please answer that, and I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
All right, no problem. I think that I think that there's always going to be, I think that conflict makes money. I'm going to say it that way. When somebody says that, when they're talking about you, you're making money, that's true. So whether it's good press or bad press, you're going to make money. I think that that is true. However, in this particular situation, I think that when a production company's hand is tied to the ability to make money, I don't think that they're not going to bite their own hand. I don't think that. I think they want to see Ryan be successful to an extent because they want to make their money back, right? Um, but they don't necessarily want to see him be too successful because then it gives him power and rights to negotiate. For example, I definitely don't think that they want him to get another deal like this. I definitely don't think that they want to see other black directors or any directors for that matter come in and say, you only get to hold the rights to this movie for this amount of time, and then I want you to give it back to me. I don't think they want to see that at all because they're still making money off of Gone with the Wind. They're still making money off of The Color Purple. They're still making money off of these movies, some of our favorite movies that we watched for 40 years ago, 30 years ago. I'm 49, so I'm looking at some movies that I was watching when I was 19 or I was 15, The Little Mermaid, whatever the case might be. These production companies, they want to hold on to those rights because they'll make money forever. What is it called? Perpetuity. They'll make money forever, so they don't want to relinquish that because that's how they feed their kids as kids as kids as kids. That's how you have generational wealth, so they don't want to release that. But I don't think that they're bite the hand that feed them, right? It just triggers. It just happens that way. Where when something negative happens, it could be the slutty vegan situation. It could be the Oprah thing. Whenever we see or hear a black person send out the bat sign, we're gonna show up, good, bad, or indifferent. In this in
Mhm.
particular situation, I would think that it would have been Ryan Coogler to do it, not necessarily Variety. So I think Variety did it by accident, not knowing. I don't think that they were smart enough to think, oh, if we write this bad thing, it's going to send black people to to the theaters. I think it was just because.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I think with this film, what I like about Ryan Coogler, and I like my two favorite directors right now, Ryan Coogler and Jordan Peele. They, and then I saw Issa Rae recently in an episode of Black Mirror, and she's also done, been doing her thing, and it's really great to just see these people with these innovative ideas and all this talent. And I'm excited for them. I'm very happy for them. And what I think that has to happen though is we got to graduate as a community to a point where um, it's not just sort of like the masses of us sitting back and being happy for whatever black person, white people happen to choose to be a part of their institutions. Why do I say it that way? And I at risk of sounding cynical, I'm not cynical at all. I'm very, very happy for them. But I want to ask y'all a question. Give me a yes or no. Do you think that there are other talented directors out here outside of Ryan Coogler and Jordan Peele and Issa Rae? Yes or no? Do you think our community is full of talent in terms of people that can really get the job done and do amazing things. And here's the problem. Here's where you got to kind of this is where you want to aim in terms of the North Star on this is you got to realize Warner Brothers can't hire every black person, every talented black person out here. Right. And you wouldn't even want them to hire every talented black person because that's part of the reason that other individuals have so much control over the black community. We get kind of fed into the Hunger Games. And I say this because Dr. Linnea, I saw something where there was a man who was a comedian and he was talking about how his wife should have stood by him because he said I was trying to make this comedy thing work and I said just be patient. And after 4 years, we got separated, and then I got successful. I don't know. Did you see that? Yeah, and I said I don't like any of this story because I'm tired of what I refer to as motivational porn. And I say it that way because basically what he was doing was I could see people getting inspired by his story. Like, wow, he just stuck it out, he stuck with it, he kept going, and everything worked out. And look at that. And now she done missed out because he done became big. Cool, nothing
They
wrong with that.
actually stayed together though. They did not
Oh,
separate.
oh, they stayed together. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, maybe I didn't stay to
They
the end of
stayed
that.
together.
Okay,
Because it
got it.
was a drawn out story. He talked about, what had happened was so he is a comedian, and I think he might be he's a faith-based comedian. He said
Mm.
that they had separated, his career's picking up, things are happening, and he said that um he said God spoke to him, or he got some type of something that said, no, like this is where you're supposed to be, that you got to figure this out, you got to make it work. And I think it was that somebody in the comments said that they seen it too. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think what it was they had decided to go their separate ways, and they had to sit down and tell the kids. And so they do some type of Facebook thing to tell the FaceTime to tell the kids that they're not going to be together. The kids start crying, and so he hangs up the phone with the mom and was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of it. And then he said, you know what? We've come too far. We've done this, and so whatever it was, they figured out how to make it work, and they were still together. They are still together.
And I love that. I really do. I believe in family and marriage and all that. What bothers me, because they've even done this with Ryan Coogler and his beautiful relationship, right? She bought his first typewriter or something for $300, or his first script software or something, right? And now look at him. The problem with that, and I hope everyone can hear me on this, is that these stories are part of what keeps the black community stuck. And I say that because as I mentioned earlier, Warner Brothers in Hollywood does not have enough space to hire everybody, every talented black person out here. So what happens is you have this story where Ryan Coogler says, "My wife bought my first $300 software and I couldn't afford it. Now look at how great I am." So you get a million talented black people who could be starting businesses and being successful in some other arena, but they all then say, "I'm gonna be like him. I want to be like Ryan." And then they keep that story, they paste it on their wall, and every day they're working on their script. And they're like, one day I'm going to be like Ryan Coogler. Da, da, da. So then next thing you know, you're running around to Warner Brothers trying to sell your script. Then you go to Paramount. Then you go over to Netflix and you're rejection, 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 rejection. All the while, you're talented as shit. You're good. You own your game 100%. But what's happened is you got a million people trying to go through a freaking cubbyhole that probably holds five people. It happens with little black boys in the NBA. Everybody want to be the next LeBron. Stop trying to be the next LeBron. Be the next great black business owner so you can create LeBrons. You can go. I mean, seriously, if we all just said, look, check this out, pay attention like this. If we all right now, there's about 1,000 of us in this room right now. If all of us got together and said we're all gonna go work for Warner Brothers, do you really think that they would be able to hire all of us? And we're only 1,000 people. We're not a million. We're 1,000. Do you think that they can hire every single one of us? Do you think that they would? What do y'all think? Do you think they would give all of us a Ryan Coogler deal where we all, we like, I got my movie out and I'm making all, because I know what y'all doing. I'm gonna tell you, Dr. Lene, these people, the folks in this room, they are writing the scripts. They are, doing the work. They are building they're getting it done. So here's the deal, right? But here's a better plan. How about we democratize black success? How about we distribute that? How about we all make a different plan? Here's a better plan that will put money in all y'all's pockets right now. How about all of us go invest in the stock market right now and go build wealth in the stock market using things like the $5 a day plan, which literally can make every single one of you a millionaire if you stick with the dang plan. Seriously, or close to it, hundreds of thousands of dollars. How about all of us say we're going to go start a black owned business? And I'm going to go start my business. You start yours. I'll do my business in plumbing. Your business is in computers. Your business is in artificial intelligence. Your business is in accounting. And then we're all sort of distributing the success because there's opportunities available for everyone. And this is what we lost with integration. Before integration, we had a little more of that. We had the ability not just to create more opportunities for others or for ourselves, but we could actually develop institutions where I could then start passing that down. I could create a table and let other people sit at it. And we traded that for a space where you got 10 million people trying to get one seat at one table. I want to get a seat at the table at Netflix. I want to be the next Issa Rae. God bless Issa Rae. God bless Ryan Coogler. Bless them for their partnerships. But most black people in America, 99.9% of all black people, will never have a partnership with any Hollywood studio. So that's why I say it becomes like the Hunger Games. It's no different from all the little black boys. 10 million black boys all want to be the next LeBron. Ain't none of y'all gonna be the damn next LeBron. Two of you will be. The other 9,999,998 of you got to find something else to do because white folks can't carry all of you. So that's my thing, right? I love what they're doing. I like these individuals. I really do. But I think that we get this very poor messaging that distracts us, and you spend all your time dreaming and admiring people who were loved by whites instead of loving yourself and realizing, like, I don't need white folks to sign me or purchase me or invest in me for me to be successful. I can invest in myself. My community invests in me. My family invests in me. My mama's investing in me. So I got investors too. Do you understand? Did I sound like a hater when I said? I hope I didn't. I'm not trying to be no hater.
Now,
Dr.
no,
Lene,
but
please.
because I hope I don't sound like a hater when I come when I respond and I say, you're right, you're right. That requires the community to show up and support.
Mm. Ooh,
I'm not
we,
saying
we
you're
got to sit
wrong,
on that for a minute.
but as a community, we have to then say that my cousin's business is the shit, and I'm going to buy
Mm,
her products over. We have a complex in our own community of thinking that somebody else's ice water is colder because they're a celebrity, there it's attached to this. So we
mm,
we strive to have that and not embrace our homie, our friend, our cousin, our sister's business and what they have and what they do. So it does not behoove us to just run out here and start businesses that are not supported, or they don't have the business acumen, or they don't have the business education, or that doesn't have the business support. We need these things to go hand in hand because we
mm.
wouldn't look to Hollywood, we wouldn't look to the studios, we wouldn't look to the NBA or the NFL if we could turn to our community and get that support.
Yes.
Because we have it. We got trillions of dollars out here we're tricking off. So we have it,
Mm.
but we rather go give it over here than put it over here.
Ooh. Oh my
So
goodness. Wow. Tricking off your trillions. That almost sounds like a rap song. TOT. Stop being a tot. Stop tricking off your trillions. So
Uh,
anyway, by the way, everybody, I'm talking to Dr. Lene Javette, and Dr. Javette is a smart lady and a wonderful friend of the Black Business School. And Dr. Javette, you got the Black Power Her conference coming up pretty soon, right? Can you tell me about that and what that's all about?
yes, man. So 4 years ago, because this is our fourth year. So 4 years ago, me and you were talking, because of course, I'm not going to say everything that I do is inspired by you, but I will give you credit on the Black Power Her because we were literally having a conversation about ways that we can impact Black women. And I was like, man, I wish I could, empower Black women. And I was like, ooh, Black Power, that sounds good. And I looked it up and it was available. So I trademarked it. And so we're on year 4 based on a conversation that we had 4 years ago. And it is a conference that is created for Black entrepreneurs that is led by Black women. So I say that because when people hear Black Power, they think, oh, it's just for women. It's not. It's a Black woman led
Mm.
conference to inspire, help, promote, put you up on game in business. And I'm dope by myself, but I go and get like 10 to 15 other people who are as smart as me or smarter than me to get into a room and then reinvest, right?
Mm.
And I say it that way because and I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna do real talk because when we get to the part where we start talking about these statistics, this piece that I'm saying right now is important. It costs a lot of money to go to a conference, in-person conference. A, B, and C. I'm not saying it's a lot of money, but it's an investment. It's like $500, $700, 1,000, depending on what level. I've been to conferences where I've paid upwards of $5,000. So have you, to be in certain rooms to get certain kind of education, right? And then when you think about what some of these coaches and strategists charge for one-on-one, it can be expensive. When I go into these rooms, sometimes I'm the only Black person in this room getting this knowledge and this information, and it always breaks my heart. So Black Power is about taking all these Black women that have all this knowledge and all this information and that charge, premium prices and putting them in a room and saying, hey, let's give back, let's share our knowledge, let's share what we know so that we can empower our community and our entrepreneurs. And so the Black Power Conference this year is focused on Boss Up, Bank Up. And we're focusing on sales, strategy, and scaling Black owned businesses. And so it's myself and like 14 other Black women who do dope work in the community, in the world, coming together and saying, hey, let us feed you. Let us give you some knowledge. Let us give you some information to make sure that your business is sustained, that you don't get burnt out, that you have the latest information, that you have the information that we're getting in these rooms. We want to come and give it to you. And so that's how it got started. That's what it's for. I want to make sure that Black people, Black entrepreneurs are getting high level information and not having to pay high level prices. And so I put this conference on every year and then I do it when I say a decent price, a decent price. So like the general admission is like $99. The VIP is like $149. Like they're not bad prices because it's a virtual conference. And right now, because I'm sitting here with you, I did a promo just for the folks that are here today, tonight, today, whatever. Because I don't know how to explain how it hurts my heart that Black businesses are suffering, but we don't show up and do the work to invest in ourselves, to invest in our business, or to give back to our community. And so I want
Mm.
to make sure that I'm one of those people that does that. And so
Mm.
that's what the Black
Well,
Power Conference is about.
what's the URL and can you give like a special discount for people that are in the Black Business School?
Absolutely. First of all, I started at the Black Business School, right? Like this, whenever you guys see me here, like when I tell you guys this is home, it is home. Actually, Chelsea, so Dr. Boyce, the link that you guys are going to use is blackpowher.com. So Black, BLACK, Powher, POWHER.com, blackpowher.com. And then the code that you guys are going to use is Dr. Boyce, DRBOYCE, and it's going to save you $50. Now, when you hear $50, it's like, that's not a lot of money. Well, let me tell you how it is a lot of money. Okay. So normally our general admission is 199. We're doing a promo for $99, and then you guys get 50 off of that. So you're getting it for 49.
Mm,
So a 199 ticket,
wow.
you're getting it for $49. Okay.
Wow.
My VIP ticket is usually 249, but we have a promo right now which drops it to 149, and you guys are getting $50 off of that. So you're getting a $249 ticket for $99. So
Wow.
$50 off is a lot of money to be in
Hmm.
this room for 2 days. It's Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. You don't have to be there both days because you get the replay. So if you're busy, don't trip. You will get access to the replay for both days. And
Mm,
we have seen phenomenal success come out of this. Like it's the beginning
hmm.
of the second quarter. People lose their momentum. You get tired. You set these resolutions about what you're going to start a business, you're going to grow your business, you're going to write a book, and then it's here we are, the second quarter, and you haven't done any of those things. So I specifically put Black Power in April because it's Black Women's International Black Women History Month. So this is our
Mm,
month, right? So I specifically have this in this month because it's a time to focus on us, our businesses, and the success of our businesses. And Dr. Boyce, I know we're going to talk about the statistics of this of success, and I'm trying not to get emotional when I talk about this. I have struggled for many years in my business to not say Black women, and what I mean by that is Black men need our help too, right? And I feel like people pander to Black women. I feel like Black men in the relationship space are pandering to Black women, and just we pander to Black women. So I'm always like, I don't want to do. I want to work with men and women.
hmm.
The statistics say and show that Black women's businesses are struggling.
Mm,
We are starting businesses faster than anybody else. We're the most educated over anybody else. We make the least money in our businesses. We hire the least amount of people and we have the least amount of success. But we
mm,
get patted on the back for starting businesses. According to the 2025 success of businesses, where Black women are today in the trajectory that we're on in entrepreneurship, it will take us 40 years to catch, to become even to the profit revenue of Black men. We're so far behind, and we get cookies for starting businesses. I'm not saying that it's not a good idea, it's not good to start a business, but we should be able to start a business, operate a business, make money from our business, have time freedom from our business, feel good about our business, and not be burnt out. We should understand AI. We should understand marketing. We should know how to pitch. There are a lot of things that we need to know about business other than just, I started a business. And
Well,
so,
well, that's a good point that you make there because when you talk about starting a business, I've seen a lot of um well, we were talking earlier about how sometimes we can be super emotional. There's an emotionality. There's like a sort of a hit, a dopamine hit that you get from starting the business or being inspired or and we get it, same thing. You go to a motivational speech, somebody motivates you, or you see something at church, or you hear a story about, a rags to riches story that you saw in Essence magazine or whatever it is. And what I think we don't understand is that that original emotional boost has to be followed by thousands of hours of discipline and excitement and starting something new is almost always more thrilling than maintaining something that's already been established, right? Like making a baby is a lot of fun, but raising a baby from the age of 0 to the age of 18 takes a lot of work. Thousands of hours of consistent effort toward the same objective, which is I'm gonna get this little kid to the age of 18 in one piece to make sure they don't die, right? And that's hard, right? And so what I find is that we have to not just um, enjoy the spark of starting something new. We have to enjoy the discipline of loving that thing that we've created enough that we get that baby to the age of 18 in one piece. And that so that might instead of that baby being your child, maybe the baby is your business. Or instead of that baby being a child or a business, maybe that baby is your freaking marriage. Look at
mm,
how many people, I want y'all to know, look at how many people you see who will go just all out on a wedding, right? Have the biggest wedding ever, but don't put no effort in learning how to stay married. So you are excited about the person, but you don't really love the person. You're excited about being married, but you don't love the idea of staying married or building a family or building legacy because you see these relationships break down very quickly. I know a guy whose daughter got married like a year ago or something. He spent three or $400,000 on this extravagant blowout wedding, and they're already like talking about getting a divorce. I said, man, I would be getting a refund. Like to hell with that. So what are you celebrating then? If you aren't celebrating something that's supposed to be around for 40, 50 years, then why would you spend three or $400,000? Because I can tell y'all right now, $400,000, that's generational wealth, by the way. You could
Oh
literally
yeah.
take care of your great great grandkids off that same $400,000, but you blew it all because you wanted the moment, but you didn't want the lifetime. You didn't want the legacy. You wanted the thrill, but you didn't want the institution that is supposed to be built after the initial spark. So I would encourage everybody to figure out ways to understand and embrace that idea of discipline because, like you're saying, Dr. Lene, what you're saying is that we're all getting into this whole like, yeah, I started my business, look at me. But that discipline piece where you're literally spending thousands of hours and working every single day and constantly learning to really keep the business alive, grow the business, and make it its best. Maybe we don't necessarily have that. And that requires not just it requires a lot of emotions. It requires your commitment to gaining more skill, adaptability, work ethic, and also resilience. Resilience is a really big one. Resilience means basically knowing how to be stupidly committed to an idea. Like, and I think you can. And here's the deal. I want you to respond to this, Dr. Lene, because you study this in your doctoral program, Black women's businesses and things like that. Um, I think that everything that we need to do this is already in us, and all we got to do is look at good parents. Look at how committed a good mother or a good father is to their business, or oh, sorry, to their child, not their business, to their child, right? They're not going to ever give up on the child. They can go from here to hell with that kid, and they're going to stay committed to the child no matter what, and that's never going to change under any circumstances, right? So imagine if we had that same degree of rugged loyalty when it came to our businesses. Or think about somebody who's really deeply in love, whether they're in love with a person or in love with God. That love is unshakable. And here's the thing: I don't think most people can do it because when you see somebody that's really that in love with a person to the point where they're like, that's my man or that's my woman. I'm sticking with her no matter what. That means that she get hooked on drugs. I'm gonna help her get off drugs. She messes up, gets out in the street. I'm gonna bring her back. Right? Whatever. That's crazy, right? People will be like, why would you do that? Why would you commit to someone that's doing these things? Right? And I agree. I understand that, but if you really go and study like marriages, for example, that last 50, 60 years, they done been through hell that you can't even imagine. Like they're literally like, no, that was, and if you ask them like why, like I asked my dad, like how did you stay married 51 years? He's like, well, because divorce was not an option. He says
Mm.
because I just didn't get a divorce. That was not even a conversation topic. So that required him to be stupidly loyal to my mother, right? And because my mother and my father, both of them could have easily, found a better life. My father was not the easiest man to deal with. He's stubborn as hell. My mother was like, "But that's your daddy. I love your daddy. He's been through a lot. He went to Vietnam. I love this man. That ain't gonna change." It didn't matter, right? My father, same thing. Right next to my mother, he's young. He's a good-looking man. All his friends are like, "Man, why are you dealing with taking care of somebody else's kid and coming home and doing this and doing that? You could go smoke dope. You can hang out with your friends. You got women in the street begging for his attention." And he was like, "No, this is my family." And that is, see, the idea. Here's the point I'm making on this, and this is where I'm circling to. I think, and I'd like for you to confirm that based on your research or any of that, if maybe I'm wrong, but I think that what is required to be successful means you got to have a foundation. You got to believe in something. You got to believe in something. What do you believe in? What are you committed to? If you are a person who follows the crowd, you will not be successful. If
Mm.
you're a person who gives up easily, you will not be successful. If you're a person who changes your principles based on changes in conditions or changes in society or changes in trends, if you deviate too much from the core of who you are, you will not get to the finish line. Dr. Lene, please take over and finish what I.
Man, let me tell you, I did a thing with Fly Nubian Money a couple of weeks ago called Brilliant AF. And a lot of you guys in here are business owner entrepreneurs. You kind of know how this thing works a little bit, and that is that Sometimes we'll do a webinar before we sell something, before we pitch something. And so what I found in that was that there's a lot of us, Black women and Black men, who are running around. We look good on the outside. We look successful. We're doing all the things and we don't have it together.
Mm,
Imposter syndrome is real. So you can go out and start a business, get into a relationship, get a new job, whatever that thing is. If you don't believe you're supposed to have it, if you don't believe that you're worthy of it, if you don't show up and put the energy and the effort into it, if you don't try to be the best at it, you will lose it. And so even
mm,
though we start these businesses and we can beat on our chest and say, I have a business, if you don't take the time to invest into it, like you invest into your relationships, like you invest into your children, like you invest into your health and wellness, if you do, because some of us don't, it's not going to grow.
mm-hmm,
And what I have found when I was doing Brilliant AF was that there were women, especially as Black women, we say we're strong. But I said, well, what does your world look like if you got to do what you wanted to do, if you got to be as brilliant as you wanted to be, if you got to live out your life the way you wanted to live it, what would it look like? Somebody said, I'd be able to breathe.
mm,
Somebody said, I could be happy. I could have joy. I'd have real friendships. And that showed me that we're out here being strong, but we're not always happy. We're out here being strong, but we're not living in fullness. We're strong, but we're not all of the things that we can be. Some
mm,
of it is because we're giving it away to everybody else. We're putting ourselves last. And a
mm,
lot of times when we have a business, we're so focused on how am I going to take care of my family? How am I going to take care of my kids? How am I going to show up for everybody else that we don't show up for ourselves? And
mm,
so investing in when you think about the stereotypes that surround businesses, Black businesses, what are they? Customer service, pricing, the hours that somebody's keeping, who's at the front register. They're all
or
things,
competence, just competence
competence.
in general.
These are all things that we can know. Me and you were talking about that this morning. If there's something that
Mm-hmm,
you're lacking, learn how to do it. But when
mm-hmm,
you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, we live by a different principle of I'll figure it out as I go, or we run our businesses on hopes and prayers. And that's why there are all these stereotypes. And I have a belief that a lot of us are first generation entrepreneurs. And when this
mm,
is your first time having a business, you're literally doing the best that you can with what you have, but you don't know what you don't know. So when we start talking about customer service and how to best operate your business from a service perspective, or we're talking about pricing and how to put your price together, or we're talking about marketing and how to get your business out there, or we're talking about pitching and how to pitch your business, you've never done this before. And that's okay, but you have
mm,
to ask for help. And so a lot of times our businesses suffer simply because we don't ask for help. We don't
mm,
show up in the rooms where help is being given. We don't say, I don't know how to do this. And we end up doing business by ourselves. And that's
mm,
a lot of the reason why our businesses get stuck. I have been going to ABC for almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years this year. We have had upwards of 500 people, 700 people. There should be 50, over 1,000 people coming to ABC every year. But people get stuck in where they are, right? I don't want to go because I don't want people to know that I don't know something. I don't want to
mm,
go because I don't want somebody to think that I don't have the answer. Maybe if I show up, they're going to think I don't know something. Being in the room says that I want to be better. I want to know more. There's something that there's something that I'm missing. And we find our community when we show up in these rooms. When we show up at A, B, and C, man, that place is like going home. We have people
yeah,
that come to A, B, and C that have been coming since year one or that have been 4, 5, 6 times because they know that's home. When you
yeah,
go to a conference or a summit or you get into a room with other Black people, we welcome you. Like I always tell people, if you come to my event, we go together. Like don't try to shake me when I see you in the streets. What's good? We gonna hug it out. Like that's family. So when you don't go to a conference or a summit or A, B, and C or a place where we are gathered, this is not church, but where two or more are gathered and we are Black people, we are touching and agreeing that I got you, you got me. If I see you in the street, I'm gonna have your back. I'm gonna support your business. I'm a crazy networker. I can call Dr. Boyce and be like, hey, do you know such and such and such? But he can call me too and be like, hey, do you know somebody that does this? Oh, I do. Let me go in because I'm connecting. You got to be around people that want to connect, but more importantly, they want to see you be successful.
Hmm.
That's why
Hmm.
sometimes it breaks my heart when we do these types of events and people don't show up. Like what you need is in the room. If you're trying to break through to six figures, it's in the room. If you're trying to start
Hmm.
your business, it's in the room. If
Yes.
you're feeling like you're doing it by yourself, get in a room with people who want to help you and see you be successful. We sit out and we sit out and we type on the computer and we show up to these types of conversations, but we don't take action. And then we a
Mm.
year later, we're like, well, how come I'm not successful? You didn't get in the room.
Mm. Well, I think that's a great point, and it's not as if we don't understand everything that you're talking about based on what we already do. And what I really want everybody to understand, every morning we get together and we're talking about wealth and economics and investing. And one of the things I'd like to give to you is an understanding that everything that you're trying to be, you already are. It's a matter of targeting and tapping into that, right? And so let me explain. What Dr. Javette is discussing is that businesses grow when they receive investment. Right now, what we tend to do because we're black is we're trained to look and look at big white corporations like Warner Brothers, and we say if they would only invest in me in my business, then I could be successful. I need them to breathe life into whatever I'm doing, right? If I'm the next Ryan Coogler, I can only, breathe life into my dream if Warner Brothers sees my capability. Here's the problem. For many of you, Warner Brothers will never see you. And I hate saying it like that, but it's true. We know this. But what has to happen, which is really more important in my opinion, is you have to see yourself and you have to see each other. And then if you see yourself and you see each other, then it doesn't matter if they see you or not. Like I know Warner Brothers doesn't see me. They ain't calling my phone trying to get to Netflix ain't offering deals to to me, right? But it don't matter because you see me. And part of the reason you see me is because I saw me. And my mama saw me. My mama saw me when she chose not to, when she chose not to terminate me, right? So she saw me, then I saw me, and then as I saw me and she saw me, then y'all saw me. Do you understand? Because what you see is what you invest in. That's what you pour into. My mother saw me, she invested in me as a child. I saw me, I invested in me. Investing in me became more important than investing in this white corporation and that corporation, whatever, right? And then you see me and you're investing, right? But here's the other thing. I need you to see yourself and I need you to see each other. That makes the circle complete. And so because here's the deal. Look, you're already an investor. I told y'all this from day one. You're already investing in something. You're investing, maybe you're not investing money all the time, but well, we're investing 1.6 trillion in something. But then also you're investing your time, you're investing your love, your energy, you're investing your attention. Facebook monetizes attention. They make what $100 billion a year monetizing attention. So when you have attention and you're looking at something, you're investing in the thing that you're paying attention to. So here's what I want you to understand. This is where I'll take this full circle, and then I'm gonna let Lene talk again because I actually have to step. She's gonna have the stage because I'm gonna step away again because I'm just ghetto today. Um, when you're talking about investing in things, I want you to think about the things you've been paying attention to. I want you to think about the fact that for many years, don't tell me you can't invest in you and your business because you've been investing in that damn job for 25 years. You've invested in whatever company you pay your car note to. You've been investing in that company for years. You just don't get any of the money. If you've been paying rent for 20, 25 years, you've been investing in the landlord. With your favorite TV shows, when you're watching that show every day on Netflix or whatever, you're investing in them. The difference is with this type of investing, you're pouring consistent amounts of energy and time into something. You get consistently given resources. In finance, we call that an annuity. That's how wealth is built. Wealth is built through not through one action. It's built through consistent actions doing the same thing over and over again. So I want you to think about anything in your life that you've been doing consistently for 20, 30 years. It could be literally going to the liquor store consistently 25 years. It could be investing in my child 25, 30 years, right? And I want you to think about how things grow when you're investing in them, but that don't mean you're the beneficiary of that investment. When it comes to your child, maybe you're the beneficiary when the child grows up and you get to see them become successful. You invest in your job, they pay you wages, but the company's benefiting the most from that investment. What you have to think about in terms of business is if you apply that same mentality, then here's the deal. If you're consistently investing in that business, you're consistently investing the time, you're consistently investing in the knowledge, you're consistently investing in the networking, you're consistently investing the extra money, then guess what? That business will grow just like everything else that you invest in, right? Investment is critical for anything that you want to see grow. And I know it took me a minute to make that point, and I want Dr. Javette to take over again, but I want you to just think about this. When you get married, the boom of the wedding day is going to mean nothing if you don't consistently invest in how to stay married and how to have a good marriage. If you go sleep with somebody, and you're going to have a fun time and a good experience, hopefully won't be no bad sex. But then at that point, a child will only grow out of that if you decide to give birth to the baby and invest in the baby, right? So with that business, you can go get the big bang of starting the business and telling everybody you got a business, but that thing will only grow if you invest in that asset. Assets grow if they are managed and they receive investment. When they are neglected and no one is investing in that thing dies. That explains to you why many black neighborhoods all across this country are torn down and dilapidated and broken to pieces, while everybody in that neighborhood is getting up and going to work for a white man. The white businesses thrive because they're receiving your investment. Your community suffers because you're not investing in it. Your families break apart because you're not investing in maintaining a good family. So you got to think about what you're spending your time on and what you're learning how to do, where your knowledge is. You'll go to school 4 or 5 years to learn how to go work on a job, but are you spending 4 or 5 years training on how to be the best business owner that you can be? If you're not getting training on something, then you're not going to be good at it. That's not complicated. That's a simple idea. So anyway, Dr. Javed, I'm gonna let you take this point because I've been talking for too long. Forgive me for that. And by the way, I want everybody to know I dropped that link. One of you said you couldn't get that link of those 5 commodities that I think every investor should own, particularly in the Trump era with this crazy stock market. So I'm putting that link in the chat so you guys can grab that. It is working. I tested it again and it works, but I'll give it to you again. And also, Dr. Javette, her website, blackpowerher.com. Don't put the www. I think that was the distinction in terms of whether it works. It's blackpowerher, HER. And the code to get the discount is Dr. Boyce, all one word. So, Dr. Javette, please, I'll let you go and make your point. I'm going to step away again for 1 second.
Okay, no worries, no worries. So, listen, Dr. Boyce is literally talking, and I'm tearing up over here, because I have a friend who always so first of all, he's correct. My PhD is in I studied Black women entrepreneurship. I looked at the subjective success of Black women entrepreneurs by use of psychological capital. Psychological capital is basically our mind, and it's made of hope, efficacy, resilience, and optimism. They call it the hero effect. And it basically says if you have hope, if you believe in yourself and you have self-efficacy, if you're resilient and you have an optimistic outlook, that you will be more successful than other people. And so I looked at that and how we as Black women are successful. So I've studied this, like outside of just being an entrepreneur, outside of being a business owner and a coach. I wanted to really understand, like, how does our mind work and how do I help us be more successful? And I'm telling you that story because I have a homeboy that lives in Virginia, and he always like, oh, Lene, he's like, you're so naive. Your hope and faith in Black people is going to let you down. And as Dr. Boyce was talking about just how we operate, how we show up, I'm not gonna lie to you, I take it personal when I do some of the things that I do, because when I tell you I believe in our resilience, when I tell you that I believe in our success, when I tell you that when I'm in these rooms and there's nobody that looks like us, and I know that it is just we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the business acumen, we don't have the access, we don't have the capital, we don't have the funding, and that is by design. It breaks my real heart, like for real. A lot of times I know folks think that the work that we do, especially by serving the community, like it's the easy work, and it's not. It's hard. And Dr. Boyce might be, it's hard to serve us. It's hard to serve us because You can go out and serve other people and make three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 times what you make when you serve the community. But the community is where we need the love. The community is where we need the help. The community is where we need the knowledge. And a lot of times you'll see somebody that becomes successful and then they'll turn their back on the community and they'll go make different money someplace else. But how are we as a community going to grow? And so, like, when I love Black people, I love Black business, I love being able to wake up every day and change somebody else's generational wealth, somebody else's family. When I'm with Dr. Boyce and people walk up to me, I'm like, man, because of you, I did this. I was able to buy a house. I was able to turn this around. Somebody, when I was at ABC the last time, they're like, because of you, I hit seven figures. Because of you, I was able to buy a house. Like, that feels good to know that you're out here changing people's lives. But there's another side to it when you know you have somebody's answer, but they don't invest in themselves enough to get the answer, when they don't invest in themselves enough to be able to grow their business. I am, I talk to entrepreneurs all across the country because I travel a lot. And I have this thing about when I travel, I'm always going to spend $50 on a Black business. If I'm coming to a city, I'm going to spend $50 at a Black business. At least I do my best. It could be a restaurant, it could be a marketplace. And one of the things I see is that it's hard to support us. I go to a city, where's a Black owned business at? Can I find a Black owned business? I'm looking under the rocks. Okay, let me. A lot of times I end up just going to eat because I can't find the Black owned business. And when I do find one and I walk in, I'll be like, hey, like, where do you market? Where do you tell people about your business? They'll be like, oh, just locally. People know me, people find me. Yeah, but I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. Like, I don't live here. I didn't know about your business. Like, I had to search. This is my last day here. I finally found a business. Oh, I just market right here. People here know me. Well, how can I support you if I don't know about your business and I don't live here? Like, there's just so much that if you are a startup or you're making less than six figures or you're trying, there's stages to this. So if you're making less than six figures, there's a whole lot that you don't know. When you get to six figures, you hit a plateau between like 100,000, 125, 150. You hit a plateau, and there's certain things you got to do to get out of that. A lot of times people are preaching about, I'm going to take you to seven figures. Yeah, but I can't take you from 40,000 to seven figures. There's mindset that has to happen. There's operations that has to happen. There's knowledge that has to happen. There's so much that has to happen to get our businesses to where they need to go. That I'm in this class. Dr. Bruce, did I tell you I'm at Cornell right now?
Tell me about it.
Let me tell you this. So I have a homegirl, and she was a stay-at-home mom for like 20, 25 years. She got a divorce. She was her first time going into the workforce, and she worked at a trash company, waste management here in Phoenix, right? She saw that they weren't doing something right, left there, started her own company. She owns a trash company. She's doing about 3 to 7 million a year in trash. And she invested and went to this Harvard Business Accelerator. And so I'm looking at her
Nice.
like, you went to Harvard, you got a Harvard Business Accelerator plaque on the wall. Now, mind you, I got a bachelor's, an MBA, and a PhD, and I'm still, I don't say jealous, envious. I'm envious and inspired by her Harvard Business Accelerator. So I'm like, how can I give me one of those? How can I give me one of those? And so I've been looking, I've been waiting for an opportunity. And so, anyways, Bank of America came up with a partnership with Cornell. And so I chat GPT, how does Cornell compare to Harvard? Well, Cornell is in one of the top five, Yale, Stanford, Yale, Stanford, Cornell, and Harvard. It's one of the top five schools. So I applied and I got in. So I'm currently in Cornell Business Accelerator right now, right? And so I say that,
Nice.
and so I say that to say it felt like it was going to be a startup program, right? And I was like, I'm just going to go just because I'm an entrepreneur. I want to be in the room. I want to be better for my coaching my clients. One of the things was we had to do SMART goals. I hate SMART goals because it's so generic. Like, SMART goals. So I did them and I turned to man like, I'm Dr. Nate Javette, so I'm gonna turn my SMART goals in. I turned to man and she was like, yeah, this doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
What do you mean it don't make sense? Let me try it again. So I sent it to her again and she was like, no, what you're saying is right, but you can't measure this. And what I was saying was, I want to help Black entrepreneurs. And she was like, well, what does that mean? I want to help them be successful. Well, how do you want to help me be successful? How can you, what did she say? How can you measure that? I want to help 1 million Black business owners. Help them do what? And she was like, is that realistic? And I was like, it's not. So she made me have to really sit and quantify it.
Mm,
That's how I started doing the research on the Black businesses with the numbers and understanding how many people get to 100,000, how many people get to 1 million. Only 4% of Black owned businesses get to 1 million. 11% make it over 100,000. Those are not great numbers. Our money's not right. So I have not told you this. So I have finally figured out exactly what I want to do, exactly the impact that I want to make. And it is this. I want to help 500 Black owned businesses reach $500,000. That's what I want to do. She helped me to get to that. And I've been doing this full time for 12 years. I've been going into rooms, I've been educating myself, and I'm still learning and growing. I did not realize that I could not put a measurement to it. I just feel like I want to help Black businesses be successful. No, I want to help 500 Black owned businesses reach $500,000, not 1 million, but 500,000, because only 11% are going to get to 100,000. Only
mm.
4% are going to get to seven figures. So where can I be most impactful? Helping them get to multiple six figures. And so you never stop invest. All of that to say you never stop investing in yourself. I still show up thinking I know all the things. I'm at Cornell. I just want to get the little certificate on my wall to say I was there and I learned something.
I love that. I think that's really great, and I think that and overall, it's really a matter of just deciding, what's important. I think that really fixing the issues with black businesses is essential because it's one of these things where it's going to require a shift in priorities, right? Like if we're just mass producing little workers for big corporations that are owned by other communities, we're not going to really ever have true equity in our future. We're not going to really control much of anything. And so we have to be very intentional about it. Also, I think that if I know that if I have kids that are learning about life and business, I'm sending them to people like Dr. Javette before I send them to some of these, to University of Connecticut or something, which is going to train them to just sort of feel that they should just integrate as a black employee and receive all kinds of mistreatment, discrimination, things like that, and a lack of empowerment, major struggles. The American dream is dead for most workers, 100%. I want my kids to kind of understand where the money is, where the wealth is that comes through being an investor, being an owner of something, and that kind of gets us past what I've just, I guess, in the last 45 seconds named the Ryan Coogler problem, which is that Ryan is really successful and we're very happy for him, but that's not tangent. That's not what's the word? Um, that is not substantive success for the black community. Like there's nothing about the Ryan Coogler deal, as much as I'm happy for him, there's nothing about that deal that's going to increase black wealth, right? It's just not. Racism, economic racism is systematic. You confront a system with a system. You cannot confront a system with symbolism. Like a football game. Think of it like a football game. A football game is a system. It's 80 men all working to accomplish the same objective in a very structured, organized way. I can't take on a football team if I've only got like one football player or if I've only got a flag, a symbol. Or I'm going to beat you all with my flag. No, you can't beat the Philadelphia Eagles with a flag. They will kill you. So basically, you confront the system with a system. So what does that look like? Well, right now, systematically, we are systematically brainwashed by media. We're systematically trained in the school system to go work for white people. We're systematically taught to take all of our money and go spend it with big white corporations. We're systematically trained to not be owners of capital at all. We're systematically trained to show off what we have or to get the nice job and have the nice stuff and to live in the moment as opposed to have long-term sustainable power. So what has to occur is we have to have systematic training on the tools of ownership, systematic training on the tools of developing, starting businesses, systematic training on developing businesses, systematic training on networking together so we can work together, systematic training on raising capital when there isn't much, systematic training on the fact that, pay attention, this is important. Y'all need to understand this. Starting a black owned business ain't the same as starting a white owned business. You're not white. So that means that whatever textbooks white folks have written about how they start businesses and how they succeed in America, those books have to be rewritten for black people. The rules are not the same for you as a black woman. They're not the same for you as a black man. I had a long conversation with a young black man the other day. I said, I'm sorry, man. You ain't white. The world ain't gonna work the same way it does for the white boy down the street. You're gonna have to understand the tripwires and the mechanisms that are designed to keep you in your place. And the best thing I can do for you right now is to be honest with you. We're not being honest with ourselves about what we really need and what we have to do. We're sort of fed this almost like a opium, right? This opium of dreams and hopes and and inspiration. You go to church, you get some, they dope you up in church. Not to say church is bad. Churches are good places. I believe in God, so this is no disrespect to the black church. But some of us don't go to church because we're trying to live a better life and get to heaven. Some of us go to church just because we need something that's going to help us feel good about an otherwise miserable life, right? That emotionality gets you through the week when you feel like you just are barely hanging on, right? Or if you think about just all the other things that we do, whether it's addictions that we form to things like sex or alcohol or drugs or whatever, all that's done to give you a temporary release from the fact that fundamentally speaking, you also have been taught to believe and just accept that life in America as a black person is hard, it sucks, it's bad. You might get shot by a cop on your way to find out that your bank ain't got no money in it, and you know what I mean. Like it's just like we. Tell me if I'm wrong, Doctor. I think that we have been trained to associate being black with being miserable, and nobody really tries to understand why you're miserable because everybody's scared to say it. I'm gonna say it. It's because white people treat you like crap, but you keep chasing around the very same people who treat you like crap. You chase them around. Like no, 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 no way. I'm living without you. I'm staying. I'm staying. I don't want to be free. That's what you're doing. And this is the thing that's interesting. And I'm gonna end on this point. Dr. Val, let you get the last word. And I'll make sure I give everybody the information. But Brother Nuri Muhammad said it very well. He said that we're the only group of people that will blame 95% of our problems on the white man and then turn around and give the white man 95% of our money. And then we give them 95% of our attention, 95% of our time because we go into work every day for the same man. Why are you investing in the thing that makes you miserable? Why are you doing that? That makes no sense. But so really this requires a transformation. We need a damn therapist. We need a brain doctor to go into our heads and say, okay, we got to extract this virus of slave mentality that's in you, and then you'll have a chance to be free. Right. So anyway, I'm gonna give Dr. Javet's information, and then we're gonna finish up. If you want to go to her Black Power Her conference this weekend, the URL, somebody type it in, please. And there's no www. It's blackpowerher.com, blackpowerher.com. The code word is Dr. Boyce, all one word. If you want to get the those are big discounts. It's like 75% off on one of the tickets, I noticed. So feel free to go to put in Dr. Boyce. Also, that link, I want to apologize to everybody who clicked on those five commodities that every investor should own under Trump. And that I know that second page wasn't working. So, Andrea, thank you for pointing that out to me. So, I'm going to send it out again. I'm going to text it out to you. Make sure you're on the text list. Text the word morning to the number 87948. Text morning to 87948. And I'll even give you the direct link as well. I got to go double check things. So, my apologies for that. All right. So, Dr. Javette, any final thoughts?
Here's my final thought. I want to say it loud, and I want to say it slow, and I want to just make you think, give you something to think about. It's easier to invest in someone else than it is to invest in ourselves. I don't know why that is. I don't know why we do that, but it's easier. Even with stocks, you'll go and invest in Starbucks, and you go and invest in FedEx, and you're supposed to, right? But we see we think that there's a better return when we invest in somebody else than when we invest in ourselves. And some of that is because we know us. I'm not going to show up to the class. I'm not going to do the work. I'm not da-da-da. You got to change that mindset. The same way that you invest in other people, the same way you go to that job every day, the same way you show up for you, show up for yourself, show up for your business, show up to get the information that you don't know, show up to network with other people who are at the same place that you are, show up so that you have somebody to push you, show up so that you get knowledge. my business didn't change. Well, first of all, my business didn't change till I met, you know, this where you at over here, this guy. But that was from networking. Like you got to get in the room. Like
Yes.
if you sit on the sideline, you're gonna be sitting on the sideline. If you want to get in the game, you got to get in the game. That's
Yes.
really what I would say. I'm Dr.
Yeah, I still
I'm
remember
Dr. Boyce's protege.
I still remember we became friends 11 years ago, I think. Was it 2014? Is that what year it was?
2014, yeah. No, 20,
Yeah.
yeah, 2014. It was 2014.
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all know the origin story of this superhero called Dr. Lene Javette, but well, when we had talked, I don't even know how we ended up talking, but first thing you told me really impressed the heck out of me, where you said that you wanted to quit your job and you did a crowdfunding campaign to raise $10,000 in 30 days. And it got really hard. It was really difficult, and you just stuck with it. You stuck with it. You stuck with it, and that right there stood out to me. Because I've learned if you're trying to build something solid, you gotta work with solid people. So that was very impressive. That just so you know that because I meet a lot of people, but that was like wow, that's amazing. I don't know if I would have done that. And then we worked on a project together, and I noticed how thorough you were. Like were super, super prepared. And that's another core value I believe in, that preparation is the key to success. And so that's just kind of a note for everybody in terms of I mean it's just my 2 cents. I don't know everything, but those are things I kind of look for when I'm working with people. Like how thorough, how invested are you in the success of whatever it is that we're partnering on? And then also, have you invested in yourself? Because what will happen is sometimes you'll have somebody that hasn't done any of the work, hasn't made any of the investment, and they're looking for you to save them. They're like, hey, if only Dr. Boyce does XYZ, then I can get to this next level. And I'm like, but have you even tried to get yourself to the next level? How many years have you been working on this? How much money of your own money have you put into this? That says a lot. And there's a finance theory around that. They call that the lemon theory, Lene. It's basically it says that if you want to know if you should partner with somebody on an investment or something, you should see how much skin in the game they have. Because if they're like, I want you to put skin in the game, but I ain't even put no skin in the game, well then that would make me a sucker for doing that. You're making me the sacrificial lamb. My father's such a funny man. He cusses a lot, and he would literally. I never forget him telling me. So he had perfect credit, right? Him and my mother really good with credits, right? So y'all know what it is. Anybody know what it feels like to be the only person in your family with like an 850 credit score? What's gonna happen? I want y'all to tell me what's gonna happen.
Will
You're
you
gonna get every
co-sign? Will you
relative
sign for
calling.
me?
Right,
Will you get
right,
it?
right. So he wouldn't just say no. He would cuss him out. And by the way, just trigger warning. I'm about to just say it exactly how he said it. And he literally was like, they would ask like, well, hey, can you co-sign for this? And I want to get a car because I'm struggling. Da, da, da. And he would say, hell no. He said, why the fuck do you think that 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 I believe that you would mess up your own credit and protect mine? He said, you don't give a fuck about your own credit. What makes you think that I'm dumb enough to believe you're going to give a fuck about mine? That's how my father said it. And I was like, that kind of makes sense, right? Like you don't even care about your own. You're not even investing in yourself. Or in protecting your own economic situation? Why would I be dumb enough to believe that you're going to protect mine? So my point is to say now again. I apologize for the cuss words, but I had to give you the real on that. But I really think, Lene, that at the end of the day, like so, this is where I applaud. This is where I give you your flowers. Is that you showed when we had that first conversation. I was like, okay, here's a woman that's determined. She's investing in herself. She's committed. She prepares for things. And I was like, okay, this is a person I can work with. So thank you for being solid. I respect you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. You know what? Two reasons. One, I'm detail oriented. First of all, I'm a Virgo. And if you're a Virgo out there, you already know. Or if you've
Mm.
ever dealt with a Virgo, you already know we are detail oriented people. We don't play no games. We're gonna dot the I's, we're gonna cross the T's, we're gonna make sure that the I's is crossed and the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So that's well, some of it is my personality, but the second part is I feel like Black people deserve it.
Mm.
We're
Yes.
handed bullshit every day we don't always treat each other the best. And so when you work with me, I'm going to treat you like you're a king and a queen. Like you
Mm,
deserve to be treated. When people come to my classes, they always like, you go above and beyond. You should expect people to go above and beyond for you because you're
mhm.
Black. Like you shouldn't get less because you're Black. You should get more. So I always just feel like we deserve a higher level of, you know what I'm saying? We don't get the respect and the stuff that we're supposed to get. And so I always like to make sure that we do that. But also just, you know what I'm saying? Like just having worked with you over the years, you know what I'm saying, has helped a lot. Like and I always say this whenever I get a chance to, I always say that people don't know you. You know what I'm saying? You don't get the respect that you deserve. Um, I always tell people like so, like we're gonna have an honest moment right here. Everybody doesn't like you. Everybody don't know what you do.
What? Wait,
Some
I
people
thought
have had
I thought
controversy with you, you know what I'm saying?
what?
Um, but
No, wait, what?
behind the
I,
scenes, like how you show up for, how you fight for, Dr. Boyce will get mad at me because I'll call him last. I don't like to call him first. He's like my last go-to. Like if something's not working, that's when I call him. He's not like my first call. And he'll be like, "Why didn't you call me first?" Because I want to do it by myself. Like, let me see what I can do. Like, let me see if I can get out here and get it. And if it's not working, then I'm gonna call you to save the day. But you're not gonna be my first call. Like, I'm gonna get out here. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna hustle. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And then if it doesn't work, then I'll call you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not my go-to, and that's because you've already done so much, right? When we were starting the Black Business School, like he literally let me learn about business playing with his money. And that sounds weird, but he's off doing business and he's like, "Here, Nene, take the credit card. This is what I want to do. Go do it." And would just trust me to do it. And so some of my training just comes from messing around in his business. Figure out how to do a conference. Okay, the A, B, and C, the first A, B, and C is the first multi-day event I've ever hosted. And I didn't know nothing about nothing. It was the
Mm,
first one I ever did. And then year two, when we have year two rocking and rolling, we got different rooms at this point. Like running your businesses early on helps me to be a better entrepreneur today. I've dealt with when I talk about when somebody comes to me and asks me about budgets, I've dealt with thousands tens of $1,000 budgets, $100,000 budgets. We've put on multi-day events. I've negotiated with hotels for up to 500 people. Like there's not too much I can't do. And a lot of that is in running your businesses early on before
wow.
you were fully staffed. It was just me and you out
Right.
here knocking on doors, doing business the best way that we knew how. And you let me just sit up under you and just soak up all that knowledge and paid me to learn how to do business. Man, I always
Wow.
just got to give you your roses whenever I can. I know there's some, sometimes there's controversies out there, but the good outweighs the bad.
Wow.
It outweighs
Wow.
the
Wow.
bad.
I've never heard it from that perspective. That's really interesting. Yeah, I think working with me is intense. Deep down, I've just always wanted to make things work, and it's been an honor really working with you to this point, like, and seeing all the great things you're doing. So thank you for those kind words. I appreciate that. And
Absolutely.
um and also I want to say thank you to everybody who's a part of everything that's going on. We can't do this stuff without you. So bless you, bless everybody in here, and I think this is where Black excellence lives, and just in this space, in this room, not just me, not just Dr. Javette, but all of you, and I commend all of you for being committed to creating something better and different for your families. And so, anyway, so we should bounce on out for today. It's extra long because it's Lene, it's Dr. Lene. So she's high, super high on the priority list, and so I wanted to go a little bit longer today. Thank you to those that hung out with us. Her website for her conference this weekend is blackpowerher.com, the HER, blackpowerher.com. And if you want that big gigantic discount for Black Business School members, just use the code word Dr. Boyce, all one word, and she'll take care of you. You'll hear from me a little bit later on today as well, and we're going to do stock market investing. Also tonight, Larissa Humphrey is starting her training on how to pay zero taxes legally. So if you guys want to be a part of it, yeah, I know, right? It's a great, I love that title, and she's good. So I'll text out the link for anybody that wants to participate in that as well. So God bless you. Have a great day, and thank you again, Dr. Lene. It was good to see you.
Thank you too.
All right.
Thank you to everybody in the comments. I love you guys at the Black Business School, B1 family. I saw all your comments. I couldn't respond to all of them. Thank you for the love. Thank you for for just showing up. I appreciate you and I love you. Thank you, Dr. Boyce, for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. See y'all.